Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to be talking about how to read a textbook in 1 week because you voted, I heard ya, let's do this. But before I get into the bulk of the video, I just want to say that it is 100% possible to read a textbook in 1 week, whether it be 800 pages long or like 2,000 pages long, if, however, only if you go into it actively. If you use your brain, if you analyze and go with a plan, and if you follow these tips step by step actively, you can achieve even the impossible. Step number 1, something wicked this way comes. I'm super excited for Halloween, but that's not why I chose this title. I chose this title because one of the main mistakes and main stressors that hinder students to read a textbook in a short amount of time is that they go in blindly. Like they just start reading and it's a lot of text and it's just overwhelming and everything seems important. Start by the number 1 page, which is the table of contents. Why? Because this is going to be your outline, your guide, when you are creating textbook notes for that book. Yes, my friends, I'm not only talking about reading your textbook, I'm talking about having textbook notes that you can study after. So I'm like double kill here. Use the table of contents, write it down, have like an outline that you can follow. This way, you will see that it's not a sea of 12,000 chapters and text. It is chunked into key blocks. And that seems more manageable and less intimidating. Step number 2, in the beginning, there's the end. Here's the thing, textbooks aren't like novels. You're not gonna ruin the punchline at the end. So I know we're used to reading them like this. My advice to you is to start reading your textbook like this. At the end of every chapter, look for vocabulary, look for chapter summaries, look for case studies or like sample questions, and then read your chapter. Why? Because it primes your brain to the key information, the major concepts that you will find and, wait for my next step, hunt for. Step number 3. There are 2 ways that you can quick read a textbook, either by scanning or skimming the text. Let's just start off by scanning. This is going into the text with the intention to hunt or to extract important key information. That's why we looked at the vocabulary and the chapter summaries and the major headings and the titles beforehand, so you actually have those in mind when you're going into the reading part. Look for bold text, italics, formulas, names, graphs, something that just captures your attention. A key to using the scanning method is if you know a concept or a vocabulary word, skip it. Don't waste your time. If you have extensive notes on a certain topic that you see in the textbook that you've discussed in class, and if it's like super crystal clear in your mind, skip it. On the other hand of scanning, skimming is again an active reading approach. However, this one has, in my opinion and in the research I've been doing to differentiate the two, in this technique you go in with the intent to spot fluff or filler text to avoid and to just like skim through. The 4 common things to avoid when you are skimming a text is long background stories or contexts, which tends to be in the beginning of the chapter, kind of like to introduce the topic, so just that, skip it. Exceptions, extra details, and finally side notes. So when the author just kind of like rants on about his vacation, his or her vacation, and just goes off topic. On top of that, this technique often involves students reading the first I would say 2 phrases of a paragraph just to have a feel of what it's gonna talk about, of like, is it fluff? Is it kind of like an intro? Is it a conclusion? Or is it a main chunk I should just pay more attention to? I don't think one technique is better than the other. Try them out, see which one is more effective for you, skimming or scanning. Number 5. Speed reading and the sacrifice. One of the most asked questions I get on my channel is, Anna, please help me read faster. How can I read faster? To which I would like to officially answer all those questions right now, right here, is you need to watch out, because at one point, the amount of effort you put into increasing your reading speed actually impacts your understanding of the text. And at the end of the day, if you've read a book and understood nothing, what's the point? I found a super cool little quiz test for you to take. I'll link it in the description box down below, but basically it just first off gives you a text to read. You start reading it at your normal speed, then you stop the test. It tells you, compared to other people, how fast of a reader are you, and then it's going to surprise you by asking you questions on what you've read to test out your comprehension. I find this test super helpful, and you should really take the time to do it, because afterwards, depending on your results, you can adjust your speed so the speed and the comprehension kind of are balanced out. Because if you're like, okay, Anna, I read all of this in like 10 seconds, but answered 0 questions right, uh-oh. You need to focus less on speed and bring it down a notch so this goes higher. And finally, number 6, and probably one of the most important points of this video, is get back up. If you are too detailed into what you want to accomplish and you fall short on one thing, it will discourage you completely. You will lose motivation, you're gonna freak out, and when you panic, you stop using this and you start pulling out them highlighters and just like, and I read the textbook. No, you did not. Do not set stiff, rigid goals, schedules. If you want me to do a legit how to set up an effective study session, give this video a thumbs up, and if it reaches again 1K thumbs up, I will take it as a yes, Anna, we want this, and I'll do it for you. If not, I'll think of another topic, but you know how we roll from now on, okay? But overall, in a nutshell, you have to go into this challenge keeping in mind that you will read the entire textbook in a week. And if you stumble, the next day is a new opportunity to start fresh. Don't worry about stumbling, making mistakes, failing, falling short. Get back up. Get back up, because you can do it. And for those of you that stuck around till the end, I have some extra bonus tips for you. So number 1 is, do you really have to read the textbook to be successful in your course? Think about it before you just put so much pressure on yourself to try to read it. There have been like a number of classes where I did not even open my textbooks. They were like brand spanking new, and I still got an A. So think about it. Do you have time to, quote unquote, waste trying to binge read your textbook, or is your class notes enough? Something to think about. Number 2, reading your textbook and taking textbook notes is not studying. You need to reserve some time in that week to actually go over your textbook notes, and that solidifies and helps you understand better and makes you remember and increases your memory. Again, something to keep in mind. Finally, bonus tip number 3, if you really find yourself in the pickle, like legit, this video on how to study last minute shares with you websites where you can actually look up your textbook and see if they have chapter summaries and study guides for you. So you don't even have to read it, okay? So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you liked this video. I loved hearing your guys' voice and your vote, and I'm gonna keep doing that because it's really cool. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you want to see the study session creation, effective planning type of thing. And subscribe to me if you like what you see, because I post videos every Monday and Thursday. Bye guys!